We're going to show you why everyone's talking about the Solidly model, how everyone's making bank, and why it's so lucrative. But let's start off with the beginning with Andre Cronje, who was the inventor of the system roughly over a year ago now. He basically was the mastermind and came up with this idea about a DEX that rewarded all of the holders of the token with 100% of the fees. Now, this was the first time this was ever done. It was a series of mediums that were given to people, creating this opportunity to understand this new style of DEX that he was about to release. Now, Andre had a large following. He was the creator of Yearn Finance and had people watching and looking on from the sidelines. Even people new to DeFi were just going crazy over this model. And what he did to instill confidence in the market and get everyone on board was an opportunity for the highest TVL protocols operating on Phantom, the network he was going to deploy on. He was going to give them the NFTs of the top 20 protocols. He ended up extending that to the top 25 because some things happened that changed the game a little bit. Basically what happened, there was VDAO. VDAO came along and they decided that they would create a platform to suck up TVL, and they minted this token to give to people that was really worthless to a degree because it didn't really have utility other than they were getting this NFT. They were not FTM natives or OGs of the FTM network. So OXDAO decided that they were going to combine the top protocols on Phantom to then compete with VDAO and vamp their liquidity. They even created contracts that allowed people to just switch directly across from VDAO and place their liquidity on the OXDAO platform. So their TVL went through the roof and started to really increase. What you found then is they were rivaling at the top spots for these NFTs, and the higher up the ladder you were, the larger the NFT you got. So then Solidly was born and it hit the market by storm. The price went ballistic. We've never seen so much TVL hit the Phantom network ever, and it started off, it was really flying as a DEX. These people that had these NFTs were still trying to work out the game. Everyone was trying to understand how Solidly operated, but there wasn't a community behind it or an educational program, but everyone could see the value in the model. People that got these NFTs then needed to do something with it. So what was then born was these layer 2s that went over the top of Solidly, and Solidex was released first. Solidex teamed up with multiple protocols, VDAO included, and actually put all of the NFTs together and created this platform and basically started to suck in liquidity and then run a system off the back of that to incentivize that liquidity, but then also have a token-backed system so that it basically replicate the fees that they were earning on Solidly with their large NFT position and then give it back to the people that were holding that token. OXDAO then came on a few weeks later and they were doing the same thing. Solidex had some issues with their contracts and they bowed out of the game. The Solidly model lost its steam. Andre wasn't really around to look after it because he built the system but wasn't really the person there to build the community. Great product, but a sequence of events threw it all over the shop. And if we just quickly go back to VDAO and you have a look, you'll see in the background now, these are the guys that then built Velodrome. So VDAO basically created the next fork. They addressed some of the issues that were occurring in Solidly. There was a situation where people put these fake pools up. You got two tokens that were not in circulation. So you had like a Batman, Spider-Man pool, and they were just farming the solid and basically then just locking it away and then getting the rebase. So Solidly had a system where once you had a portion of the protocol, you effectively owned it at that same percentage for eternity as long as you stayed locked in that 4-year lock. We had an immutable system that had no way for contracts to be modified, and there was a couple of loopholes that were being exploited. Moving on to Velodrome, they fixed the ultimate issues. They fixed the tokenomics of the system. They reduced the amount of rebase because there was some concerns about how heavily people were incentivized in those early stages, which now is a top performing Solidly fork and done very, very well on the Optimism network. It's competed with the Uni V3 model. It's actually done amazing. So Velodrome took it to a new level. They built community, they built education, they built like June dashboards like this. We could see how lucrative it was, you know, like all these data points. People were starting to understand exactly how the system operated, but then also they hit the market with some good marketing as well, fixed some of those core problems. And then you move along to Equalizer, and we're not biased there at all, but Equalizer was the second model to come out, but we adjusted things like the fee structure. We felt that the original models didn't support the liquidity with the fee structure, so we went and improved upon that. We then targeted a different model model with no rebase, so that basically you weren't incentivized to just lock and hold forever. There was incentive for new people to come in and join the system. We made modifications around the tokenomics. We really changed that up to try and incentivize and increase our APRs so that the people that were participating are locking these VE NFTs, but they're getting really, really high APRs. So if you roll down here, you're having a look at like how many fees and bribes are in for the week. Just on this pair here alone, these huge APRs are being given to people just for voting each week. So we really changed it, and we launched onto the Phantom network, and was a bit of a view to sort of build that community, build that education, and be that next to sort of launch, fix some other little areas that we thought we could improve upon. And we're about to launch into V2, which is going to improve upon it even again. We're looking at DeFi Llama here and the holders' revenue over the last 24 hours. When it comes to DEXs, what is the return for the people that own these tokens and they're getting back? Okay, and you look at Camelot, Solidfork, Sol Lizard, Equalizer ourselves, Velodrome, Ramses, Athena. But I think you're starting to see a theme here, right? Starting to see that all of the top revenue providers back to the holders of the token, which is the new form of cryptocurrency. If you're in crypto at the moment, or you're in decentralized finance, unless the fees or the remuneration, the revenue is going back to the holder, then it's really got no value behind that token.